Hi students, this is Mrs. Donhay coming to you from my home library, and I have a book recommendation to share with you today. This is a book that I just finished called The Revolution of Birdie Randolph. It is by Brandy Colbert, and this book is realistic fiction and has a little bit of romance. So I think if you like either of those genres, you'll really enjoy this book. I liked the characters. They were very relatable, and it was just a fast to read story that was very touching in several ways. And so let me tell you a little bit about the characters. The main character's name is Dove, but she actually goes by Birdie. Her mom gave her the nickname of Birdie because Dove is a bird and it just stuck, and now everyone calls her Birdie. And so Birdie has her whole life really tried to be serious in a lot of ways, be a very serious student, be a pleaser, always follow the rules, and her parents have had those expectations of their children. They want their children to be very focused, to excel academically, to get into a good college, to have good futures, and so they have lots of rules for them. They're very kind parents, but they're also pretty strict parents. And in that sense, this book reminded me a little bit of The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo, if you've read that one. Thought it was kind of a similar story. Birdie, up to this point, has always really followed the rules, been a good student, has focused on her studies, but there are a couple of things that happen that start to make some changes in her life and make her story a little bit more interesting and create some conflict with her parents. The first one is that Birdie's Aunt Carlene shows back up in their lives. Birdie has had very little contact with her aunt throughout her life. She has a couple of memories of her aunt growing up, but mostly it's just, that her mom always tried to keep Aunt Carlene away from Birdie and didn't let them have a whole lot of interaction. And so Birdie never got to know her aunt. Now her aunt has shown back up, wants to live with the family, wants to work in her mom's hair salon. So her aunt's sister, Birdie's mom, owns a hair salon. Her aunt wants to work there. And Birdie's mom reveals to her that her Aunt Carlene growing up had lots of struggles with addiction, with alcoholism, with drugs, and had a lot of problems in life. And so she never wanted her to be around Birdie and was afraid that she would have a bad influence on her. She's even afraid now that, even though Carlene says that she's sober, that she's clean now, that she might fall back into old habits. And so she's kind of trying to keep a little bit of distance between Carlene and Birdie while trying to help her sister get back on her feet. And so their relationship becomes closer, and Birdie develops a connection with Carlene that makes the story kind of interesting. Birdie also has her eyes set on a boy at school named Booker and really likes him, really enjoys spending time with him, feels like Booker, kind of brings out the fun-loving side of her that not a lot of people can. Like I said, she's usually pretty serious. But she starts to hope that, this relationship with Booker, this romance, can develop. However, Booker has some things that have happened in his past that she knows her parents would not be okay with. Booker actually spent some time in juvenile detention a few years ago. And, he has a story about that that's very kind of compelling and sympathetic as to how he ended up there. And Birdie can see that Booker has a really good heart. She very much trusts him. She feels like he is a good person that just, again, kind of got into some bad situations. But she also knows that if her parents found out that she was seeing Booker, that she was spending time with him, they would not be okay with it. And so Birdie starts sneaking out to see him. Birdie starts keeping a lot of things from her parents. And of course, that causes some conflict between them. So I just really loved this story. Thought that, again, the characters were very relatable, very well written. And so I hope you'll check this one out, The Revolution of Birdie Randolph.